Hello, wonderful people. It's another time together. I hope you're ready. I hope you're set for a great learning experience together. My name is Enobong Ekarika. Once again, I need to see your biro. I hope you're with your biro. Are you with your jotter? You are going to learn a lot. You're welcome to another wonderful session today. Good people, welcome to the Unlock Your Productivity Strategies to Overcome Procrastination webinar. I'm very thrilled to have you join us today as we explore practical tips. Today we are going to look at practical tips and strategies to help you overcome procrastination and unlock your full potential. You're highly welcome. Please indicate in the chat box, I am here, I am ready, I am here, I am ready. So in today's webinar, we'll delve into the psychology of procrastination and its impact on productivity and well-being. We are going to discuss practical techniques, for setting effective goals, managing distractions, and techniques for improving focus and concentration. You're going to learn a lot. So sit tight for a very great time out together. Once again, my name is Enobong Ekarika. You're highly welcome to today's session. This is our topic, Unlock Your Productivity Strategies to Overcome Procrastination. Let's start with a quote by Nelson Mandela. He said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." See things as impossible. Most times, procrastination will make things look impossible. But when you take that step, what happens? You realize that, this is something that was so easy all along. So we stand with Nelson Mandela on this quote. I agree with him fully, and I believe you also agree with him, that it always seems impossible until it's done. So good people, sit tight. We are going to break the procrastination habits together. Let's look at our agenda for today's session. Today we look at understanding procrastination. We are going to look at the psychology of procrastination, consequences of procrastination, goal setting for productivity. We are going to look at practical steps, practical strategies to do what? Overcome procrastination. We'll look at techniques for improving focus and concentration. Perfectionism. We look at how to build a supportive environment, an environment that will encourage you procrastination. And we look at how to overcome procrastination. A very interesting topic. And then signs of chronic procrastination. How to seek help. We look at some success stories and testimonials. And good people, those success stories are going to come from you. So sit tight. We want to also learn from you how you overcame procrastination and how every other person can. Then we'll conclude and we open the floor for questions and answers. You're highly welcome. Now, let's look at procrastination. What do you mean by procrastination? Because first of all, we need to understand procrastination. You can see the picture here. You say later now. Later, should I do it later? I'll do it later. Why shouldn't I do it later? But the beauty is that you can do it now. Choose to do it now, good people. Choose to do it now. Procrastination. So what is procrastination? From our definition here, it refers to the act of delaying or postponing tasks, often to the point of experiencing negative consequences. And we say it involved avoiding important or unpleasant tasks and opting for more pleasurable or less demanding activities. We all know, I can tell it, that a lot of people have experienced procrastination. And what do? You delay some tasks or you postpone tasks, and to the point of experience. It shouldn't be. A lot of people were not excellent students and are not excellent students today because they procrastinate. We'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next. I will keep fit next time. And negative consequences. That's why we are in today's class, to see how to handle procrastination, how to overcome procrastination. Let's look at the common causes and triggers. What are the common causes? The common triggers of procrastination. Number one is what? Fear of failure. That anxiety, that apprehension about meeting expectation or standards can lead to procrastination. Absolutely. The fear of failure, that fear a lot of time leads to procrastination. Perfectionism is another trigger of procrastination. Okay, what do you mean by that? The desire for perfection and the fear of making mistakes. It can always result in delaying tasks. A lot of people delay tasks, delay some actions because they are afraid of making mistakes, because they are afraid of not getting it right. They are afraid that it won't be 100% as it should. That means fear of failure, perfectionism is a factor, a trigger of procrastination. Another trigger of procrastination is what? Lack. When you feel uninspired, when you feel unmotivated. Hello, good people. Are we talking about? Please enjoy what you're seeing. Okay, good people, welcome back. We have talked about fear of failure, causes and triggers of procrastination. Perfectionism, lack of motivation is a great factor that has led to a lot of people, procrastinating. Okay? Feeling uninspired or unmotivated, it can make tasks seem daunting. It can make tasks seem so hard or big, which now delays tasks indefinitely. Another trigger of procrastination is when you have this overwhelmed, when you feel overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed by the volume or complexity of tasks, it can paralyze action. And what happens? It leads to procrastination. Another challenge and trigger of procrastination is poor time management. Inadequate planning or prioritization of tasks can contribute to procrastination behavior. Good people, take note. Causes of procrastination are fear of failure, perfectionism, lack of motivation, being over the volume or complexity of tasks, and then poor time management. Let's go to our next slide. Now let's look at impact of procrastination on productivity and well-being. Impact of procrastination on productivity and well-being. Number one, when you allow procrastination, it leads to decreased productivity. That means that procrastination can result in missed deadlines. It can result in decreased overall productivity. Okay? Another negative impact of procrastination is that it also leads to increased stress and anxiety. Okay? Okay? Now, procrastination, another impact of procrastination on productivity is that it leads that constant pressure of pending tasks, of outstanding tasks, it leads to heightened stress level and negative procrastination can lead to a lot of negative impact in your life. It will affect your well-being. It can affect your physical feelings of guilt, feelings of shame, feelings of decreased self-esteem. Great people, you're interested in being an outstanding person. You're interested in achieving your set goals. You are interested in getting physically fit. You're interested in making money. You have to beat procrastination. If you don't beat procrastination, you will be filled with decreased productivity. You'll be filled with increased stress and anxiety, and you'll be filled with negative effects on your overall well-being. Are we good? Are we together? Please Put it there. Put it there. We are together. We are together. We are together, good people. Thank you. Now let's look at the psychology of procrastination. Let's look at this, psychological factors that leads to procrastination. Number one factor is what? Fear of failure. The fear of not meeting expectations or standards can paralyze individuals, leading them to procrastinate rather than face a potential failure. Please don't be afraid of failure. Take out that step. Step out and win. Step out and achieve those goals. Step out and be the best. You can be physically fit if you don't procrastinate your workout. You can be mentally fit if you don't procrastinate your studies. You can be very excellent on your job if you don't leave some jobs undone. Okay? So fear of failure is a factor. Then perfectionism, like we said earlier, the desire for perfection and the fear of making mistakes, it can create unrealistic, standards, which now causes individuals to do what? To delay tasks indefinitely. And then low self-esteem. Individuals with low self-esteem, they may doubt their abilities and they may fear judgment from others, which leads them to procrastinate and to do what? Avoid, because they want to avoid potential criticism and rejection. Another factor is what? Impulsivity. There are, when there's difficulty in regulating impulses and prioritizing tasks, it can lead to impulsive decision making, which will always result in procrastination. These are the psychological explanation of psychological factors behind procrastination. Now let's look at cognitive behavioral perspective. Now, what do you mean by that? It means that we can understand procrastination through a cognitive behavioral lens. It emphasizes the interplay between your thoughts, between your emotions, and between your behaviors. Then, negative thought patterns too, such as self-doubt, can contribute to procrastination behaviors. Other factors are behavioral patterns, such as avoidance, distraction. They always reinforce procrastination habits. And what happens? The cycle continues. The cycle continues. We are back to another powerful quote by Ziegler. He says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Please read it again. Have you read it again? Please give us a second. I'll be with you in a jiffy. Yes, our quote says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Now let's go to our next slide. What is the role of motivation and self-regulation? Yes, a lot of people procrastinate because they are not motivated to take up that step. But motivation is very crucial for you to overcome procrastination. That means that motivation plays a crucial role in determining whether individuals will engage in productive or procrastination behaviors. And how does that happen? We have intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is driven by personal interests, by enjoyment, and it's more sustainable, and it's less likely to lead to procrastination when you have intrinsic motivation. Okay, it is less likely to lead to procrastination than extrinsic motivation, which is driven by external rewards or pressures. Another one is self-regulation. Self-regulations involve the ability to control impulses, manage emotions, and prioritize tasks effectively. And then another role is what? Strengthening self-regulation skills such as goal setting, time management, emotion regulation. It can help individuals to do what? Overcome procrastination tendencies. I hope we are having value, good people. Remember, Zig Ziglar says you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Now, we've talked about the role of motivation and self-regulation. Now, let's look at consequences of procrastination. What are the consequences? What are the implications of procrastination? Number one is that there will be negative effect on your performance and goals. There will be negative effect on your performance and goals. What do you mean by that? We said here that procrastination can result in missed deadlines, incomplete projects, poor work quality. And then when you delay important tasks, what happens? It hinders progress towards goals and impede personal and professional development. And also, procrastination can lead to feelings of frustration. It can lead to feelings of regret. It can lead to dissatisfaction with your accomplishments. This is one of the consequences of procrastination, which is negative effect on your performance and goals. Another consequence is what? Stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety. This is another consequence of procrastination. Procrastination often leads to increased stress levels because when deadline approaches and tasks remain unfinished, you feel more stressed out. Then chronic procrastination can contribute to heightened anxiety because individuals worry about this consequence of their delayed action. You realize that you're having heightened anxiety. Then this constant pressure of pending tasks can always negatively impact your mental and physical well-being, which lead to symptoms such as insomnia, symptoms such as fatigue, symptoms such as irritability. Let's look at another consequence of procrastination, long-term implication. Procrastination has long-term implications on us. What are the long-term implications? Procrastination habits that are formed in the short term can have long-term implications for success and well-being. And then persistent procrastination can always hinder career development. It can strain relationships and it can limit opportunities for personal growth. And over time, chronic procrastination can erode self-confidence. It can diminish your self-esteem. It can perpetuate that cycle of avoidance, that cycle of underachievement. These are consequences of procrastination. We've identified three major consequences of procrastination. Number one is what? negative effect on performance and goals. Number two is what? Stress and anxiety. And number three, long-term implications. Now let's look at importance of goal setting. That means that your goals should be smart. What makes a smart goal? That goals are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time bound. Because specific goals will always provide clarity and focus, measurable goals will allow you to track your. Yeah, it says that your goals should be realistic and within reach, which will now motivate you to take action. Then relevant goals align with personal values and what? Priorities, which will now increase their significance, increase their impact. Then time bound goals. What do you mean by that? These are goals that have clear deadlines. These are not failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that is what that counts. Success Please hold on while we take this quote. Is not fatal. It is the. Now let's go to our next slide. Strategy. We are talking about overcoming. Please, good people, please hold on. insights. Okay, wonderful people. Thank you for your patience. We say success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Let's go to our next slide. Strategies for effective goal setting. Number one is what? Break goals into smaller, actionable steps. Break goals into smaller, actionable steps. To help you manage them and make it more manageable and achievable. The next one is what? Write down your goals and review them regularly to stay focused and committed. And then the next thing is what? Set both short-term and long-term goals to maintain that momentum and track progress over time. And then we say share your goals with others for accountability. Share your goals with others to maintain accountability, to gain support, and to enjoy increasing motivation and commitment. Now, let's quickly look at the next point here. The link between motivation and goal setting. Let's look at the link between motivation and goal setting. Now, goal setting does what? It provides individuals with a sense of purpose and direction, and it motivates them to take action. That means there's a link between goal setting and motivation, and then there's a link between this and procrastination. If you don't set goals, if you are not motivated, you will surely procrastinate, and it will be difficult to overcome procrastination. That means goals will do what? It will provide you with that sense of purpose and direction, which will motivate you to take action and pursue desired outcomes. Goal setting, there's that link. Clear, meaningful goals, it will always increase intrinsic motivation, which is driven by that personal interest or your enjoyment in the task itself. And then progress towards goals always reinforce motivation. That means it's very critical for goal setting. Very, very critical. Now let's look at practical strategies. We are going to look at 18 strategies. We are going to look at 18 practical strategies to overcome, procrastination. Let's look at 18 practical strategies to overcome procrastination. Number one is what? Break tasks into smaller and more manageable steps. Break tasks into smaller steps. When you break tasks into smaller steps, what happens? You feel less overwhelmed and you'll be able to achieve better. Then by focusing on one step at a time, you can overcome inertia, you can build momentum towards doing what? Completing that task. Then use techniques that can help you break tasks into smaller steps. Number two is what? Use time management techniques. What do you mean by time management techniques? With time management, we have what we call the Pomodoro technique. It's a time management method. What do you do? Time yourself to get up, work for 25 minutes, rest, take a short break for 5 minutes. The Pomodoro technique, work for 25 minutes, give yourself a 5-minute break, get back to work for 5 minutes, give yourself another 5 minutes. Get to work for 25 minutes, give yourself a 5-minute break. Now, when you break work into intervals, you're scheduling these regular breaks. You can maintain focus and you can maintain productivity. You can maintain productivity. And we have other time management methods, techniques, such as we call it time blocking or Eisenhower matrix. That's another one. Number 3 method is what? Manage distraction and do what? Create a productive environment. Manage distraction and create a productive environment. Manage distraction and create a productive environment. Okay, identify common distractions in your environment, such as social media, such as email notifications, noisy environment. Take steps to minimize or eliminate this, okay? Create dedicated workspace that is free, from distractions and conducive to focus and concentration. Then implement strategies. Implement strategies like setting boundaries, taking some right techniques. Then number 4 says, set clear deadlines and accountability. That's another interesting way that you can do what? Overcome procrastination. That's another way you can overcome procrastination. Set clear deadlines. Set clear deadline. Then number 5 is what? Use implementation intentions. Use implementation intentions. Use implementation. That means you should formulate some statements. If then, there are this statement we call if then statement. Formulate it to pre-planned responses. This will help. For example, you can say, if I feel the urge to procrastinate, then I'll take a deep breath and focus on starting the task for 5 minutes. Number 6, practice self-compassion and positive self-talk. Practice self-compassion and positive self-talk. And then challenge this negative self-talk and replace it with positive affirmations. I'm great, I'm good, I'm the best, I can do it, I have it in me to do it. And number 8 is what? Break the cycle of perfectionism. Number 5 way of overcoming procrastination is what? Break the cycle of perfectionism. Embrace that concept that you're good enough. Tell yourself, I'm good enough. Recognize that perfection is not attainable or necessary for success. What is important is progress. Focus on progress over perfection and do what? Celebrate small victories along the way. Celebrate small victories. Okay? Now let's look at number 9 strategy for overcoming procrastination. Number 9 is what? Can you repeat after me? Put it in the chat box. What did you see as number 9? Reward yourself for progress. Reward yourself for progress. Good people, just establish a system of reward for completing tasks, or for reaching certain milestones. Celebrate milestones to incentivize your productivity. Reward yourself for progress. And then rewards can be as simple as taking a short break. It can be as simple as just taking out time for a leisure activity you enjoy. Reward yourself for progress. Number 10, reflect and learn from mistakes. Instead of you dwelling on past procrastination failures, use them as opportunities for growth and do what? Learning. Then reflect on what contributes to that procrastination in the past and brainstorm, strategies to prevent similar situations in the future. Number 11, create a structured routine. Create a structured routine. That means you should establish a daily or weekly routine that includes dedicated time blocks for work, breaks, and leisure activities. There should be consistency in your schedule. It's very, very important. Consistency. I can tell you that just as we were about starting today's class, there was heavy rain, so heavy that I wasn't hearing myself. But because there is a consistency in our schedule intends that every Fridays by 6:30 p.m. Nigerian time, we must be online. I have to be online for the class despite the heavy rain, despite the wind, despite the noise of the rain. That means consistency in schedule is very important. That's why you should create a structured routine. Number 12 is what? Visualize success and consequences. Visualize the positive outcomes of completing your tasks on time, such as feeling accomplished or achieving. Just visualize it. That visualized picture will help you push towards the goal. And then similarly, do what? Consider the negative consequences. Consider the negative consequences of procrastination, such as missed opportunities or increased stress, which should be a motivation for you. Number 3 is what? Limit decision making. What do you mean by that? Reduce decision fatigue by simplifying your choices, minimize unnecessary decision making throughout the day. Then set some routines, set some predetermined rules or routine for common decisions, such as meal planning. Don't make it stressful. Outfit selection, to conserve mental energy for important tasks. Number 14 is what? Practice mindfulness and focus techniques. What do you mean by that? Incorporate mindfulness practice such as meditation or deep breathing exercises to cultivate awareness and reduce distraction. It's very important. Utilize mindfulness. Use techniques such as the 5-minute rule or just start. There's another method called just start to overcome initial resistance and build momentum, in tackling your tasks. Number 15 is what? Seek support and accountability. Seek support and accountability. Enlist the support of friends, family, colleagues to hold you accountable for your goals and commitment. Join a mastermind group. You can have accountability partners. Join online communities that are focused on productivity and personal development for additional support and motivation. Number 16, reflect on your values and priorities. Align your tasks and goals with your core values and long-term priorities. So do what? This will help to increase your intrinsic motivation and commitment, and then regularly reassess your goals and commitment. We have talked on 16 strategies to overcome procrastination. If you take advantage of the 16 strategies we have itemized in today's class, you will surely be an outstanding personality because procrastination becomes a no-no. Now let's get to the next one. Techniques for improving focus and what? Concentration. Number 1 is what? Mindful meditation. What do you mean by mindful meditation? It involves bringing awareness to the present moment without judgment. Practice mindfulness, very, very important. Number 2 is what? Deep breathing exercises. Deep breathing is very important because it promotes relaxation and it reduces stress. Okay? Then deep breathing also increases oxygen inflow to the brain and it improves your alertness and mental clarity. That means that when when you take deep breathing, it can help to regulate your emotion. It can help to calm your nervous system. It can help to enhance your focus and concentration. I give you an assignment. Anytime you're scared, anytime you are afraid, anytime you're anxious, take deep breath. Breathe in slowly. Count 10, hold it. While you hold it, count 10. Then breathe out slowly while counting 1 to 10. Do that continuously, and you realize yourself being very calm. You see yourself becoming very calm. Then visualization techniques is very important too. Okay, imagine the specific outcome. Even before achieving, when you imagine the outcome is going to bring out a mega result for you. Now, this is another quote by Sam Levinson. He says, don't watch the clock, do what it does. And what does the clock do? Keep going. I remember a primary school, poem. Then it says, tick says the clock, tick, tick. What you have to do, do quick. Let me add my dialect. And I'm giving you as an assignment to be able to repeat this quote on your own too. Now, this poem says, tick says the clock, tick, tick. What you have to do, do quick. Nkanika dorote, tick, tick, tick. So for yenendinam sobidem. Tick says the clock, tick, tick. What you have to do, do quick. Nkanika dorote, tick, tick. So for yenendinam sobidem. It's a very interesting quote that was, more or less a joke to us then as kids. We saw it more as a joke. But in today, if you want to overcome procrastination, you must do what the clock does. Keep moving. Okay, let's get to the next point. Addressing perfectionism. Look at this wonderful man. Because of perfectionism, he's tied to a chain of perfectionism. Okay? Now, how do we address perfectionism? Number one, address these perfectionistic tendencies. How do you do that? Perfectionism will always involve setting high standards for yourself and striving for flawlessness in tasks and achievement. But you need to recognize signs of perfectionism, such as setting unrealistic tasks, okay, such as fearing failure, such as seeking constant validation. And then do what? Another way of recognizing these tendencies, be aware of these tendencies in the first step towards overcoming them. Number two, what's number two? Embrace imperfectionism. Please, embracing imperfection involves accepting that mistakes and setbacks are a natural part of the learning process. You have to accept that mistakes, that setbacks are a natural part of the learning process. So shift your mindset from seeking perfection to valuing yourself. Recognizing that, shift your mindset. Let me repeat myself. Shift your mindset from seeking perfection to valuing progress and growth, even if it means making mistakes along the way. And then what? Practice self-compassion and kindness towards yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Recognize that perfection is unattainable and unnecessary for success. Number three way of addressing perfectionism is what? Set realistic expectations. Set realistic and achievable goals that align with your abilities, your resources, and your constraints. Break your tasks into manageable steps and focus on making progress rather than achieving perfection. Number 4 is what? Cultivating a growth mindset. When you adopt a growth mindset, when you believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and persistence, you're cultivating a growth mindset. Embrace challenges as opportunities for what? For growth, for learning, rather than viewing them as threats to your self-worth. Embrace challenges. Take it up as opportunities for growth, as opportunities for learning. Then focus on the process of improvement and development rather than for solely resting or focusing on the end result. Number 5, practice imperfection. Practice imperfection. What do you mean by that? Challenge perfectionistic tendencies by intentionally engaging in activities where perfection is not the goal. You have to embrace opportunities to experiment, embrace opportunities to take risks, opportunities to make mistakes, and then foster what? Creativity and innovation. And then recognize that imperfection can lead to unexpected what? Discoveries. Imperfection can lead to unexpected discoveries, breakthroughs, and even embracing personal and professional growth. So good people practice imperfection. Then seek feedback and support. Okay? Seek feedback and support from others to gain perspective and insight on your work. Surround yourself with positive individuals and encourage progress and provide constructive criticism. Use feedback as an opportunity to learn. Don't be afraid of feedback. Don't be afraid of criticism. Use it as opportunity for learning and growth rather than validation of your worth or abilities. Number 7, celebrate progress and efforts. Celebrate progress and effort. Celebrate small wins and milestones along the way. Recognizing that the effort and progress you've made. Celebrate small wins. Celebrate your effort. Celebrate your milestones. Acknowledge the courage it takes to step outside your comfort zone and challenge perfectionistic tendencies. And then do what? Cultivate that sense of pride, that sense of accomplishment in your achievement, regardless of whether they meet your initial expectations. Now let's go to our next slide. I believe we've been able to address perfectionism, building a supportive environment. Remember, our target is what? Overcoming procrastination. Well, how do you do that? Surround yourself with individuals with positive influence. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire and motivate you to pursue your goals. Okay? Seek out supportive friends, family members, then which will foster that sense of belonging. Establish clear boundaries. What do you mean by that? Set clear boundaries to protect your time, your energy, and priorities. Then learn to say no to requests or commitment that do not align with your goals or values. Then communicate your boundary, well-being, and productivity. Number 3 is create a productive workspace. Design a dedicated workspace that is conducive to focus, creativity, and productivity. Listen, good people, designate a dedicated workspace that is conducive to focus, creativity, and what productivity. Minimize distractions and clutter to create a clean and organized environment. Then do what? Personalize your workspace with inspiring decorations, comfortable furnitures, and tools. Seek with account you with these people or being a lifelong within your environment. Embrace and for learning and looking. Encourage continuous improvement amongst peers and colleagues. Then create space for sharing knowledge, skills, and experiences. I hope we are together. Now let's go to the next slide. Overcoming procrastination related guilt. Overcoming procrastination related guilt. How do we do this? Not feel guilt, negative implications of our behaviors, of that procrastinating behavior. How do we overcome procrastination related guilt? Because the, the challenge with this is that this guilt has a tendency of to pursue your goal, making you afraid to pursue your target of achieving the set goal. Number one is what? Recognize and acknowledge guilt. How do you do that? Acknowledge and validate your feelings of guilt without judgment and self-criticism. Yes, under procrastination, but it does not define your worth or abilities. Recognize it. Guilt is just a natural response to procrastination, but it does not define your worth or abilities. Number two, reframe negative self-talk. Good people, are we together? Okay, focus on progress. People, are we together? Hello, you're welcome back to today's session. Thank you so much for your patience with us. Despite the network breakdown, I really appreciate your patience staying on with us. Thank you so much. You're highly appreciated. Please tell yourself you're simply the best. I can tell you you're a very wonderful personality. You are highly appreciated. Let's just take a brief of what we've done so far before we were cut off from the network. Just have a brief. I'm just going slide to slide. Like it says here, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. The rules of role of motivation and self-regulation. Consequences of procrastination. And we said it has negative effect on performance and goals. It leads to stress and anxiety. It leads to long-term implications. Then we talked about importance of setting smart goals. And says here, success is not final, failure is not fatal, but what the courage to continue is what counts. We talked about goal setting. Goal setting, we've talked about that. We've talked about the Pomodoro technique, very important. We talked about 16 practical strategies to overcome procrastination. I can tell you, even if you pick out one of it and you're good with it, you will sure overcome procrastination. 16 ways to overcome procrastination. Then techniques for improving your focus and concentration. We said don't watch the clock, do what it does. Keep going. Address perfectionism. We've talked about that. Building a supportive environment. Overcoming procrastination-related guilt. We were here. We said you should recognize and acknowledge guilt. You should recognize that guilt is a natural response to procrastination, but it does not define you. It does not define your worth. Challenge negative that contribute to this feeling of guilt. Replace this self-critical thoughts with compassionate and empowering affirmations, and practice self-compassion. Love yourself, pity yourself, be kind towards yourself, be compassionate towards yourself. Learn from your mistakes and do what? Move forward. Good people, don't just learn from your mistake and stay there. Learn from your mistakes and move forward. Then practice forgiveness, and very important. Forgive yourself. for the errors, the mistakes you've made of your poor choices due to procrastination, and do what? Let go. Move on. Move on. Now let's look at another interesting topic here. It says success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Now let's look at signs of chronic procrastination and seeking help. One sign of chronic procrastination is persistent delaying of important tasks. When you consistently postpone important tasks, despite that means that you're facing, when you have, which will always lead to increase stress. Another sign of chronic procrastination is what? Perfectionistic tendencies. Perfectionistic tendencies. Don't, setting excessively high targets for yourself, excessively high bar or standard for your signs of chronic procrastination. Avoidance behavior, when people excessive distraction, important tasks, or seeking justifications. Those are avoidance behavior. People use avoidance behaviors as a coping mechanism to alleviate stress or discomfort associated with. Another sign of chronic procrastination is what? Feelings of guilt or shame is another sign. Then another one is what? Impact on your mental health and well-being. Now, and when it significantly impairs or delays your functioning, then reach out to trusted friends, encouragement, and then consider seeking professional help from therapists, counselors, coaches, that are specializing in procrastination and productivity. Now, I want to see your success story. Before your success story, there's this quote by Mark Twain, and the quote says, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." The secret of getting ahead is getting started, by Mark Twain. Now, let's hear your success story. And when Walt Disney said, the way to getting started is to quit talking and begin doing. Quit talking and begin doing. Now, please put your success story and testimonial in the chat box. We are waiting to read your success stories, how you overcame procrastination. In so many aspects of my life, on my job, I have to overcome procrastination, to work without supervision, to meet my targets, my assigned targets. A lot has to be done to face that. Then also, I have clients that have succeeded in their different targets because they overcame procrastination in different ways. So we've talked about a lot, some quotes, and also let's conclude on our topic. I hope we had value. We learned a lot in today's class. We learned a lot. I'm inviting you, share your success stories, and join us same time next week for another class. And please, good people, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Enobong Ekarika. Just type on YouTube, Enobong Ekarika, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so that you'll always be notified whenever we post our classes. That means for a replay of this class, please go to our YouTube channel, Enobong Ekarika, on YouTube. Thank you so much, wonderful people. And like Napoleon Hill says, I'll end with this quote from Napoleon Hill: your big opportunity might be right where you are now. So take the bull by the horn, overcome procrastination, win, because you are great. Tell yourself every day, I am great. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you so much for your engagement. Thank you so much for your willingness to learn and to grow together. You're highly appreciated. We hope you found today's class valuable. Okay? And you found the strategies, and we've been able to share these strategies to overcome procrastination and unlock your productivity. Stay connected, good people. Follow us on social media, Success Sages, CEO and Entrepreneur Stories and Chronicles. Connect with us on Enobong Ekarika on Facebook, on Enobong Ekarika on YouTube. Very soon you'll connect with us on our website. Thank you so much. Keep the momentum going. Take action on what you've learned today and implement these strategies to overcome procrastination, to conquer procrastination. Let's continue this conversation with people. Join our community to share your progress, your challenges and your success stories with like-minded individuals. Thank you for being a part of our webinar journey today. Thank you. Thank you. You're highly appreciated. To have a fantastic day, fantastic evening, a fantastic morning.